Hello, I'm Draq, and Pantheon fans, we need to have a serious discussion. No, not that discussion. You should have had that one with your parents years ago. What I'm talking about is the Cash Shop and Monetization for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Now, Essen and I did a plus profile, but we didn't feel like we had enough time to fully delve out and get into his ideas about what he calls the frictionless cash shop. But I know many of you are super passionate when it comes to the cash shop and whether you want it in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen or whether you don't want it in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. So I just want to take this moment to ask you to take a breath, calm down, and just listen to a new idea and just see how it goes and not just jump to conclusions, and more importantly, just keep yourself under control. I don't care if you disagree with what we say, and you can even say that in the comments, but let's keep it civil. Remember, we're all people and that we're all gamers, and ultimately it's up to VR what happens with the cash shop. Onward and upward. All right, so we did a plus profile.
Yep.
But we didn't feel like Essen got everything out that he wanted to say about fundraising for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. So we decided to do a little extra video. Would you like to explain the scope of this little project?
Sure. Monetization is going to happen one way or the other. It can go well or it can go poorly. But the fact of the matter is that MMOs can't survive on $15 a month anymore. The same price it was in 1999. It's not feasible. There has to be monetization. We've seen how bad it can get, but we haven't seen how good it can get. And so I like to provide that.
Nice. Yeah, I always like to tell people, I'm like, yeah, the question's not whether you want to pay $20 a month and have a cash shop. The question is do you want to pay $50 a month and not have a cash shop? That's closer to the line of where it would be. And that might even be too cheap. I don't know. I think $50 a month is a lot to ask from people, and so, like you said, I think the cash shop has to exist in some form. But I like the idea of, as you put it, a frictionless cash shop. And so, what do you mean when you say frictionless?
Well, first of all, it's frictionless fundraising, because monetization, it sounds like a dirty word. But fundraising, everybody loves fundraising. Firefighters do it. It must be good. So frictionless basically is just a fun word. The whole idea is to provide funding for VR and Pantheon with zero social impact within the game. So if there is a cash shop, you can buy things, but no one would know you bought them, and they wouldn't have any effect in the game, either gameplay or socially. So
no transmog.
Okay, yeah, let me run down a list of no's, because what we're defining, it's important to start with what you can't do, right? So no currency, no money for currency, no money for XP or rep bonuses, no money for food or potions, no money for gear, pets, mounts, emotes, transmogs, obviously, no money for player housing, no money for race or sex change characters, because you can't do that. You should be able to do that anyways. Zero social impact is the goal.
So nothing that you can see or touch in the game, nothing that affects your character in any way, not even a haircut.
Not even a haircut. And that sounds really strict, and it sounds like you're limiting your creativity there. But I like to look back at the Roadrunner cartoons. The Roadrunner cartoons, I think they had, I had an article about this a little while ago. I think they had 7 or 9 rules. Wait, I don't know. Let's call it 8, right? They had 8 rules for every episode, and they were hardline rules. 1, the coyote can never die, the Roadrunner can never get caught, and there's 6 more. And there are hardline rules, and they made 300 episodes. And obviously it was a big success. So rules don't limit your creativity, right? They inspire creativity because you have a boundaries within to be creative.
Right, and I think that VR is really good at already providing boundaries, right? They have the pillars of the game already, right? That are already out there and that they follow very strictly. There's going to be, the classes are going to be distinct. It's going to be difficult, like all those different pillars, they seem to be really implementing really well already.
Yeah, good rules are just absolutely critical. Yep.
Okay, so what types of monetization would be allowed then if we're not going to use all the ones that are typically in MMORPGs that we already kind of know about from every RPG that we've ever played?
Well, there are going to be a couple ones that are, just in every RPG, every MMO, right? Like server transfer fee, additional character slots maybe, and name changes, right? Those are pretty much required. You have to be able to give those couple things, especially server transfer. Just good to provide that. And those can be, moderately expensive, and expensive enough that you don't want people just switching servers every day, right? So like $30, $25, something like that, right? But we want to get really creative and want to create like a real cash flow for the company. I think it's got to be voluntary. And so you got your $15 a month, but what if you pledge on top of that? What if you pledge another $15, $25, $30, whatever the number is, I don't know, on top of the $15? And what would you get for that? So if you ever play Hearthstone, you'll see how they gave out those card backs, and typically you have to meet a certain requirement to do it. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but if you pledge a certain level, maybe you get certain perks that come out every month or every 3 months, something like that. If you're subscribed through perks, you get perks, right? So they can include tons of great items. You can get like custom loading screens, maybe a loading screen with that changes every month or something like that. Custom character select screen, so you don't want to be pictured in Howner's cave when you select your character. Maybe you want to be pictured on the Silent Plains, right? Alternative skill bar art, so where your bars are across the screen in the UI. Maybe you could get a different UI for that, and a new one every couple months, right? And you can pick the one you like the most. Custom UI elements like menu skins, perception skins. So like if you pull up your spell book, maybe there's one that comes out that's like very holy looking, and the cleric's like that, the paladin's like that, and there's one that's like all torn to shreds, and maybe like the warrior likes that, or maybe it's by race, right? A very dwarfish looking spell book, or very scar looking spell book made of human skin, right? You could do something that's I just kind of threw this one in there, but like a priority login. It really doesn't matter much after launch, but it's simple, it's easy. Might as well throw that in there too, right? And what if your perk determined how you could earn free game time or a free game, not for you because you already bought the game, but for a friend, right? So if you hire your perk, the more free game time for a friend you get, and you can recruit a friend that way.
So it's kind of like recruiting and a perk for you.
Right, yeah, you're paying a little bit more for the game, and you're getting all those bonuses, or some bonuses, and you're also basically getting your friend to play for free, or at least discounted. Yeah.
Nice. Do you think people would do that? That's always the question with the alternative types of monetization. Do you think people would pay more for custom loading screens and that type of things?
Yeah, I do. Not everyone's going to do it, obviously, and it's just never going to happen. No one's going to buy everything. But if there's an option out there and you don't have it, and you're a completionist, and you are a completionist because you're playing an MMO, and let's face it, somebody's got to fill out that bar, man. I've got to fill out that bar. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, if you're missing out every month on skill bar art and one comes out of your class, you're missing out. And maybe you're going to make an enchanter next, and you see that enchanter skill bar art comes out next month. Yeah, I think people are going to buy it. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's never been tried, right?
You're right, and I've never seen anything like that before in any MMO. You'd also be saying that there's no custom UIs. There's no going to a site and then downloading a UI for the game. Then assuming.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe there are, and then you can either get the custom UIs or you can just get them through the game. I think you're going to get the VR exclusive ones in the game, and people can come up with their own, and that'd be cool, but you can't get the custom ones VR makes unless you pay for it.
Right. Okay, well, what other ideas did you have?
Oh, that's it. I'm done. No, recruit a friend. That's pretty easy, right? You can just buy a bundle of games and hand out the codes to your friends. So like if one game costs 60, 2 games would cost like 90 or something like that. I don't know, something like that. 2, 3, 4, maybe up to like 6 games, so you can get like a full group, right? And you could have like, I don't know, rewards for recruiting friends. I don't know what they would be. It wouldn't be like mounts and stuff like that, because remember, everything you can get should be from the game. And then another big source of fundraising is doing what they're already doing. You have all the pledges and all the perks from pledging. Well, some of them I don't like gear. Like no, not paying for gear, not happening. Not on my watch, or maybe on my watch, but I won't be happy about it. But there are other things like designing a quest, right? Development's not going to stop when the game launches. There's going to be expansions and patches and all sorts of stuff. So why can't design a quest remain an option? Pay for that. Design a dungeon, design a raid. What about art that hangs on the walls and the inns and for the towns and statues and stained glass and I don't know, art. But why can't a player commission the art for like $500 and VR pays the artist like $200 and they keep $300 for themselves? You're supporting artists and you're supporting the game, and it could be the most art-filled MMO ever. And that might not be a big deal, but it'll be something, and it'll be cool. And it's, a way to enhance the game and pay for it. That's really cool. And then a big one would be naming and design for like characters. And I just wrote this one out. Let me read it real quick. So the idea behind naming rights is that if another player looked at this character, they would not know it's yours. It will be inside information. So for example, maybe your wife's name is Samantha. Maybe my wife's name is Samantha, which it is. So if I was going to name an NPC, I wouldn't call the NPC Samantha. I would request or be given context for that character, and I name that NPC around that context. So if I got the chance to name a pirate NPC, I would name her Sammy Too Soon. So it's named after Samantha, but it just sounds like a pirate name. But that's mine. Every time I see that character, I know she's mine. That sounds kind of creepy, but whatever. So you can name an NPC for like $250 maybe, I don't know. And then you can design an NPC for maybe $700, design what they wear, something like that, I don't know. So write their lines for them, that'd be cool.
Well, so like my wife loves to bake. So like if I were going to make her in the game, I'd make her Aubrey, and she would be Aubrey the baker, right? And she would sell chocolate cake and blueberry muffins and stuff like that, right? It would be something that, because everybody's got like, every town has like a baker, right? And every town has all these different NPCs that usually, after a while you don't even use them anyway, right? And because you're on the quest food or whatever, but they're just there as kind of flavor for the town and walking around, and you wouldn't even have to like have them persistent all the time. They could just be as like sometimes during the day, and then other people would come in during other times. So you're wandering around town and then you see your character, and hey, that's a big deal. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, can you imagine your favorite game and you're walking around and you're like, oh, that's the NPC I designed. Like, that's me or my character in the game immortalized. Like, that's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
And speaking of like Aubrey being a baker, why can't you do the same thing with items? So you could design or name an in-game item. So you could do like Aubrey's chocolate cake. And they have to make chocolate cake anyways in the game. Why can't they just name it and charge you, I don't know, $50 or $100 for it? And then you have an item in the game that's there forever. It's your item, even though it's available for everybody, obviously. But it's named after your wife. That's pretty cool. Maybe you always keep a slice in your bag.
After every dungeon win, we have a slice of Aubrey's cake.
That's right. That feels pretty good. And you could do, so like for food, that's like really easy, right? You just like changing the name and whatever, and or maybe like you have a favorite food and you want them to add that food to the game. Like I love pizza or shrimp, which sure, I guess I do. I don't know, it kind of just came into my brain, but maybe they were going to put pizza with shrimp in the game. But I say, hey guys, I really want some pizza with shrimp here. Can we make that a thing? And they're like, sure, $300. $300, pizza with shrimp in the game, and we'll call it Essen's Pizza with Shrimp. Now we're going to call it like, I don't know, Bad Idea Pizza. Like, okay, Bad Idea Pizza, it's in the game. And there it is. It's my pizza with shrimp. And everyone can learn the recipe, and everyone can make it, and everyone can fish for those shrimp and ruin them by putting them in a pizza. And everyone can have a good time, except for the shrimp. But yeah, it's like food could be like $300, or like more intensive things, like you want to design it and name a sword, right? It's probably going to be more expensive because they got to create a whole, model and everything like that. But food, there's no model for that, man. Quick and easy.
Super easy.
Yeah, and then there's no limit, right? If they're making something in the game, you may as well charge something for it, right? So what about taverns? There's going to be taverns in the game, probably, I assume. So what if you could name a tavern and name the bartender in the tavern? And so you go into your tavern, and nobody knows it's your tavern. Or it doesn't say like John's Tavern. Your name is John, right? It could be like the Swiss Gurgler. I don't know what the hell's that. The Swiss Gurgler. Oh god, Swiss Gurgler. That's my tavern. I named it the Swiss Gurgler. And inside we got Cheese Munster, the bartender running the place. It's like, that's my bar. And that'd be really cool to go back to your bar. Right? And you could tell the people in your party, like, hey guys, I paid for this, I pledged, and I named this bar, this is my bar. That's pretty wild. It doesn't, socially, what does that do, right? No one's gonna like walk around and say, somebody paid for that bar, and that changed that, ruined the game, that ruined the immersion. No, it didn't. It just named the bar. It's pretty awesome.
What about corporate sponsorship? Would you allow, so let's just take it to the crazy real quick.
Yeah, cool.
So what if Pepsi came in and said, I'd like to put a Mountain Dew bar in, and I want you to call it Mount Dew, and it needs to be green.
Mountain Dew. It's going to be a raid. The raid's going to be called Mount Doom, but it's DEWM.
There you go.
Doom.
And it could be a green dragon.
Green dragon.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
The greedy side of me wants to do it, but I don't think the whole point of a corporation advertising the game would be for branding, and the whole point of branding is to familiarize your customer with your brand name, and I don't think you could do that in the game without breaking immersion for all of the players.
Right.
I don't think that would work. Because
the branding would have to be, you'd have to actually everyone would have to actually know what it means. And you're saying to make this work, it's just got to be seamless, and everybody's just running around in a world that all these characters are paid for, but nobody knows that they're paid for.
Right, exactly. So if you logged into the game, you would have no idea that the system existed unless you read about it on the forums or on the website.
Right. Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah, and I just want to just real quick in there, it's really easy to be tempted to break the rules. And so I wrote another example down about the tavern and naming your own bartender and tavern. It'd be really cool if you bought a tavern to put a picture up on the wall of your character, and it's this is my favorite customer, or this character is banned from the establishment, and have your character's face on the wall. That'd be really cool, but that would kind of break the rule of social interaction and paying for it. So that wouldn't work. Yeah. So other things you can name, and this is just for starters, right? This is endless. You could name a boat, that transfers you from zone to zone. You don't think you want to name a boat that's sitting in the harbor. You're gonna name a boat that takes you from Stranglethorn to, I haven't played WoW in a while, to the Barrens, right? The booty. No, I don't know. The point is, one of those boats that transfers between zones. That'd be freaking sweet to name that boat, to name that captain, right? That'd be wild. So every time you get on that boat, it's excuse me, we got to take my boat. But to anyone playing the game, like, that's just a boat with a name. They don't know. It doesn't break anything. Of course, now, to be completely fair, you gotta police these names. You can't have, like, you know, Bodie McBoatface as the name of the boat, right? That would completely break with the lore and immersion and all that stuff. All this stuff has to be within reason, and it's got to be approved by VR. But you can do it, right? They do the same thing with names. Well, to some extent, they do something with the character names, but like this has to be more policed, I suppose. But
right, somebody's got to like it. Otherwise, we're gonna have, you know, Farts McGee or, you know, whatever, right? It's gonna delve into the 11-year-old naming convention.
Yeah, real quick. You definitely have to police that, and it's automatically policed, right? It automatically has to go through VR, so it's not like you're naming a character and then they go through and they find you later and like, oh, this guy's got a bad name, gotta get rid of it. Like their VR is involved from the start, so there's no backtracking. It's pretty, I don't know, easy, but it's pretty straightforward, at least. And then I'm glancing around to make sure nobody's listening. But then they could also do something like, maybe you could design a new race or a new class, and that could be, you know, over $10,000, something like that. Some big pledge, right? So say someone wanted, I don't know, snake people. Maybe someone could do snake people. And, you know, that would take a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of commitment, and, you know, to come out with, you know, next patch or expansion or something like that. It's a huge deal, right? New class, new race, huge. But maybe you could be involved in it. Maybe you could help set the design for the class, the philosophy behind it, right? You could be a part of that.
I think they should bring /pizza into the game. Oh, EverQuest did that back in the day. You could hit /pizza in the game, and then it brought up a web browser, and then you could order a pizza from Pizza Hut. And I thought that was fantastic, and I love that. I don't know why it was. It's just cool that, you know, you can hit it in the game. I think, you know, obviously now you can do things so much better, right? You can put it all in game. You could, you know, order it, and I think you should be able to. Like, they should strike some deal with some, you know, it doesn't have to be pizza. It's just pizza's just the easiest and, you know, very gamery. But you could strike some deal, make it a special Pantheon pizza, right? And, you know, I'm willing to pay an extra amount of money to have my special Pantheon pizza be delivered to my door while I'm gaming on Pantheon, right? Like, how cool is that? Like, and then you can, like, I'd take a selfie eating my Pantheon pizza while playing the game, and then, you know, that's extra advertising too, you know. So I just think it's a missed opportunity there to partner with some kind of food and gamer food specifically.
Gamer food, gamer fuel. Back to Mountain Dew again, huh?
Yes.
slash do the do.
Do the do.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
I'll be straight honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't think it breaks the rules. I think it doesn't. It does break immersion, obviously, and it has to, right? But it doesn't break immersion for anybody else. It's just for you. So it's non-social, and I think that's fine.
Right. So if you didn't want to do the /pizza, then you just don't do the /pizza.
Yeah, and if you did, and like if you logged into the game and you saw everyone running around, you wouldn't see anyone typing /pizza. You would never know it existed.
Right.
It doesn't break immersion for anybody else but you. So I think it's cool. /Uber Eats.
/Uber Eats. Hey, why not, man?
Hey, /app. Oh, maybe you could do something like a. Oh my God, make it. You know how they have those Amazon tags where it's like Amazon / I don't know, charity or whatever. Like a certain amount of money that your purchase goes towards a certain cause, whatever it is. Make it do /Amazon. I don't know. That seems crazy.
Yeah. Or like, you know, maybe there's a mouse, you know, they want to sponsor, or maybe there's a keyboard set they want to sponsor, or stuff like that. You know, there's all kinds of like real life stuff that you can get into that I think that if you implement that into the game, not like please do not hammer us with Windows, because that is the most annoying thing ever. But like, but I wouldn't mind like a real life store built into the game. Like, even like they got t-shirts now, right? I wouldn't mind them putting that as a link in a menu, like if I hit escape, there's a link for the real life store, and there's shirts and keyboards and mice and stuff with Pantheon logos and stuff on it. I wouldn't mind that.
I don't think that breaks the rule, but I also think that's a really deep rabbit hole, and I think that sort of stuff, again, it doesn't break my rule, but I think that should stay outside of the game. But I think that Pantheon VR does a great job with sending out newsletters and sending out information to its followers. I don't see a reason why that should stop after the game is launched. So why can't you do affiliate emails for, say, like Alienware, right? We mail our 50,000 players, a 10% off coupon for Alienware games, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we name Alienware the official computer of Pantheon players. Pay you for that. There's all sorts of sponsorships and selling stuff you can do outside of the game as well. That, if they're advertisements and they don't necessarily take anything away from the game, but they can help with an additional revenue stream. Some corporate cash for VR. The corporation's paying for it. I'm not. That's great.
I'd much rather get an email from VR with ads on it than have a window in game that I have to close.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
And honestly, I'm going to pay more attention to the email because that's on my time, right? I open emails when I decide to open emails. Like, the thing that annoys me about those stupid pop-up windows is I might actually want to do whatever the stupid pop-up window is, but I don't want to do it when I'm trying to do something else, right? It annoys me that I have to close that stupid your special offer when I'm in the middle of trying to get to a dungeon, right? That's annoying.
Yep, absolutely. No pop-up windows for anything except for the perception system. Let's go with that.
Yes, that's a hard and fast rule.
Yeah, that's a good one. No pop-up windows. I mean, that's a pretty easy rule, right? Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants it. But all these MMOs do it, especially the free-to-play ones. They're everywhere. We just got done with SWOTOR on the MMORPG 101 classes, and they had so many pop-up windows. Like, when I logged in, I had to spend like a minute minimizing and closing pop-up windows. Is ridiculous.
Oh, it's half the screen. I just booted up Champions Online again. I don't know why. I don't know. I like the game. It's old, but I used to play it way back in the day for a little bit. I'll tell you, graphics are pretty great. They hold up pretty well for a really old game. But like, when you start the game and you start the tutorials pop up like every other game, right? ASD, WASD, like right click for this, left click for that. But the thing is, they almost go on top of each other. So you have like a stack of windows, and they all speak. So it's the same lady talking over herself through like 4 windows, like 10 minutes. I don't know what the hell she's saying, but she's saying it 4 times. I don't know what's going on. So like, no pop-up windows.
That's super obnoxious.
I kind of find it funny, but yeah, it's just old. They're never going to change it, right? The game's on life support, so whatever. But yeah, no pop-up windows. Let's say that. Pretty easy. No pop-up windows. Yes, snake people. Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. All right, let's wrap this thing up. VR, we hope you're listening. We know you usually are. And hey, Essen is available to help you with your frictionless fundraising. We got some pretty good ideas here. I feel like that you've got a lot going for it here, and I think that it's good ideas.
Well, thanks, man. We're just scratching the surface, and sky's the limit, or something in game is the limit. I don't know if there's a limit to the sky in game. The point is, I'm just scratching the surface here, and I appreciate you doing the profile with me. That was fun. My wife laughed, so it's a win. and appreciate the time to come on now. It's been fun, as always.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this video and you have a great idea for frictionless fundraising, put it in the comments, and either myself or Essen will comment on it, maybe even both. We'll discuss it with you. So thanks for listening in, and have a great day.